There's a specific moment when silence stops being passive and starts doing the talking for you. Not awkward silence, controlled silence, the kind people feel before they understand it. In most social situations, silence is misunderstood. People are taught to fill gaps, clarify intentions, and smooth interactions. So when someone doesn't, the mind immediately searches for meaning. From a psychological perspective, silence removes cues. Without verbal reassurance, others are forced to interpret your position based on posture, timing, and emotional control. This shifts attention away from what you think and toward how grounded you seem. In social behavior, those who speak less but remain composed are often perceived as more deliberate, not because they're mysterious, but because they don't rush to manage reactions. Silence interrupts the usual rhythm, and that interruption carries weight. This is why saying nothing can feel uncomfortable at first. It places you outside the expected pattern, where influence often lives. Watch what usually happens when tension appears. A pause in conversation, a question that feels slightly pointed, a look that invites a response. Most people rush in. They explain, soften, clarify anything to regain control of the moment. Now consider the opposite behavior. Someone makes a comment that subtly challenges you. Instead of reacting, you hold eye contact, acknowledge it briefly, and say nothing more. No defense, no justification, just presence. Psychologically, this creates asymmetry. The other person expected words and prepared to respond to them. When none come, their momentum collapses. They're left managing their own discomfort while you remain steady. Silence, in this form, isn't absence. It's containment. And containment quietly shifts the balance of power in the interaction. What gives silence its power isn't the lack of words, it's the lack of emotional leakage. When you speak too quickly, you reveal where you're invested. Your tone, speed, and choice of words expose what matters to you. Silence removes those signals. It keeps your internal state unreadable. This creates a subtle reversal. Instead of you reacting to the situation starts reacting to you. People slow down. They replay what they said. They wonder if they misjudged the moment. Before, your words helped them calibrate their behavior. After, they have to calibrate it alone. Over time, this trains others to be more precise around you. They learn that careless remarks don't get immediate engagement, and that awareness changes how they approach you. That's the hidden layer most people miss. Silence reshapes behavior before it needs to correct it. When this becomes consistent, the effect extends beyond individual moments. People begin to associate you with emotional steadiness. Conversations around you slow down. Reactions become measured. Even disagreements take on a different tone, less impulsive, more deliberate. In group dynamics, those who don't rush to fill silence are often perceived as the reference point. Others look to them before speaking, not because they demand attention, but because their presence sets the pace. Over time, this creates a quiet authority. You're no longer pulled into every exchange. You choose when to engage, and that choice is felt. This is how influence accumulates without effort, not through control, but through restraint that remains consistent across situations. The most common mistake is mistaking silence for withdrawal. Some people stop speaking, but internally they're tense, waiting, and resisting, holding back emotion. Others use silence as a passive punishment, hoping the other person will feel it and react. That kind of silence doesn't create authority. It creates ambiguity. Psychologically, people can sense when silence is loaded. It feels sharp, defensive, or unstable. Instead of slowing down, others either push harder or disengage completely. Effective silence is neutral. It isn't withholding. It isn't performative. It comes from being settled enough that you don't need to steer the moment. When silence carries that quality, it grounds the interaction instead of destabilizing it. That distinction is subtle, and it's where most people get it wrong. Silence doesn't work because it intimidates. It works because it removes urgency. When you stop rushing to respond, you signal that the moment doesn't control you. And people adjust to that signal instinctively. Say what matters when it matters. Then allow space to do the rest. In that space, power settles quietly, and on your terms.